Hey y'all, welcome to the second episode of Bluegrass Race Hub. Today, we'll talk about the three-way battle for truck points, Aaron Smith, Rocky Win, and more. Let's do this. Hey everyone, my name is Bryce. I drive the number 9 Xfinity car. I'm also the director of content here for Bluegrass iRacing Series. And I'm joined on the show with Alex Healy.
Yep, I'm the driver of the '97 Silverado in the Truck Series, and I am the social media czar.
So I hear you're finally out of Facebook jail.
Finally, yeah, I'm allowed to do things again, so I can get back to doing the posts for the league and everything, and posting everyone's cool paint jobs and stuff. But Zuckerberg's really had it out for me lately, so I'm gonna have to tread lightly.
Yeah, fair enough. He's been out for a lot of people recently, from what I've been hearing. But
Yep.
yeah, as I said earlier in the kind of like the intro, we have a three-way battle right now for the truck league and their points. You know, we have between Robbie Richards and Wes Wiggin, who are actually tied, but Keith Hackney is quickly closing the gap on them. Keith Hackney has one more race, man. He's in first place. And, they've already locked in themselves in the playoffs. It was all three of them have a win already. But, yeah, three-way battle for trucks right now, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's shaking out it's going to be really interesting going forward. I think the top three guys, there are two different ways they're going about it. Where Robbie and Wes have been real consistent throughout the season, not big highs, not big lows, which I think Robbie has a win, Wes does not have a win. And then on the flip side, you got Keith, who has 3 wins, but when he has a bad race, he really has a bad race. So it's more than one way to skin that cat. I mean, obviously getting wins is what it's all about. But from the outside looking in, I prefer to see that consistency, because once we get in the playoffs, if you have a bad race or two, that's lights out for you.
Yeah, definitely. And, we have, a couple more wild cards. We have a couple short tracks, and then we got finish out rounding out the regular season for all 3 series. We go to Daytona. So that's a wild card race for anyone that hasn't watched any of the races this week or this whole season. It's been a lot of good racing, a lot of heartfelt, a lot of hearts being broken, a lot of screaming in the chat, and but yeah, it's especially with Daytona. We got Wilkesboro. No, we already did Wilkesboro. Excuse me. We have Watkins Glen coming up. We have Nashville Fairgrounds this week.
Yep, God, it's such a tough track. I was running practice laps earlier, and it reminded me of how stressful it is getting around that place, which it's technically my home track. I live like 50 minutes from it, so I should claim it as a home track, but God, I do not enjoy it.
Yeah, I've only raced on it probably a couple times, and it's still, yeah, I'm not even getting into that. It's a whole nother beast for me. Me and short tracks don't get along.
Yeah, it's always stressful, Adam. Which one key insight for this, not that it helps or hurts or anything, but my brother-in-law, when he's growing up, he raced late models there, and I put him on the sim there one day to see how it compared. And I don't know how often you've been around fairgrounds, but at the bottom of the exit on turn 2, there are like 3 significant bumps there, and they'll push you up to the wall. And he was making laps, and the first thing he commented was like, "Yep, that is exactly how the bottom there is in real life. That's why we do not run the bottom."
Yeah, I remember you also had to run like the one groove up or something like that.
Yep.
That's considered the bottom line.
Yep.
Yeah, on to Bluegrass news. For everyone who likes dirt racing, Scott Fritz is starting to recruit for the Bluegrass Pro Late Model Series, powered by World of Thunder Esports League. They also will be running a a Bluegrass champion and also a world champion, along with the Miller Family Trucking Esports League World of Thunder Pro Late Model Series. Make sure you guys are on social media for that one. And some other news, real NASCAR news. How about Noah Gragson finally getting his shot?
Man, I think it was the worst kept secret in NASCAR. I think pretty much everyone was dead set that he was going to the 42. I'm a fan of Gregson. I know that there's a lot of people that might not be too crazy of him about him. I know he kind of has his antics and stuff sometimes, but I think it's good for the sport. It's entertaining, and frankly, that Petty GMS team with him and Eric Jones. Eric Jones has really come along this year. He runs solid just about everywhere now. It seems like it's not necessarily a threat to win races all the time, but he's a solid guy that's going to be running mid pack, and when he's at the right track, he's got a chance to win. And the little bit we've seen from Noah, which granted he's been driving what are like Spire Motorsports and College cars, not a top quality rides or anything, but I think at Pocono he was running really strong, and I think he ended up getting in someone else's incident. But from what I've seen, I think he's going to be pretty successful. Which as far as I know, I think he's going to be the only rookie next year, unless Ty Gibbs comes up and takes someone's spot, or if there's some other crazy signing out there that I don't know about. So as of right now, I'd say he's going to be the rookie of the year.
Yeah, definitely. This is what I believe the Cup Series needs, because Noah in the Xfinity Series, he's always known as the guy that's going to bring the spunk, bring the attitude. He's the guy that comes with his fire suit half unbuttoned with no shirt underneath.
Exactly.
He's to me, he kind of, it sounds weird to say this, but kind of like his demeanor and the way he looks. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, and I don't really care. He gives me that Dale Earnhardt vibes. I
I can
cannot be
see
the only
that.
one that feels that.
I could see that, but I'm gonna raise you one more, which this might be a before your time reference. It's actually before my time, but I see a lot of people compare him to Tim Richmond,
I believe
who
it.
I guess had a big personality and had a good time and was who he was, and didn't wasn't doing the corporate speak in interviews, like when Noah talks, when Tim Richmond talked, that you're getting that guy, not a guy that's just a robot up there shouting out at sponsors and stuff like that, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. Noah's not gonna. I can see his first season. It's all about learning the Cup car and stuff like that, especially for his first actual season in the Cup Series. But I don't. His second and third season, I expect him to start showing his personality.
Yep.
He's, excuse me. He's also like going to climb the fence and shotgun a beer and stuff like that. We don't have that in the Cup Series. Their
Yeah.
most polarizing figure is Kyle Busch, but ever since he has Brexton, he's been nonchalant, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
There's not really been that one guy that has the major attitudes anymore, and
Yep.
I believe that's what the Cup Series is lacking.
Yeah, and the other thing that Noah Gragson is going to do is he's probably going to keep throwing up inside of his helmet. Dude,
I feel
I
bad
don't
for his
know,
interior guy,
dude.
the intern at Junior Motorsports. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, because they say he like they're I guess at like crucial moments of the race, like sometimes he'll basically start hyperventilating, and that's what causes him to throw up. So
Yeah,
hopefully they can coach that out of him, because
yeah.
one it's got to suck to drive like that, and two it got the calmer you can stay behind the wheel, the better decisions you're going to be able to make. I think last year they were real big on showing like the heart rate of drivers, and Denny Hamlin, like he went out of his way, like he trained in a way to keep his heart rate lower in the car so that he was able to better focus on what's going on the track. And I think that's a pretty good way to look at it. So hopefully Noah can take some steps like that to get some of this stuff under control.
Yeah, definitely. Well, moving on. Speaking of Denny Hamlin, 2311 extends Bubba Wallace's contract indefinitely.
Yep, I think it was. I just read multi-year. No one has. They have not
I'm
disclosed
for
how many
multi-year,
year. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I've heard all that.
yeah.
Heard
So
both.
I'm sure at least 2, but I mean, the guy obviously brings money, and some people feel different ways about him, but I think it's pretty easy to say that he is the most famous NASCAR driver we have today. If people don't know anything about the sport, they probably know who Bubba Wallace is at this point. And as far as having a ride, um, the guys that bring the money, they're always going to have a seat. And on the flip side, the past 5 weeks, Bubba has ran probably the best 5 weeks of his Cup career. I know he had, I think, what, four top tens, and I'm not sure where he finished today. I saw him running around about 12th or 13th, but I know the pit cycles got all crazy, so I didn't see where he finished. But he's really stepped it up here recently, which makes me super happy.
Yeah, definitely. And, my only gripe with Bubba is, he's so hard on himself. I mean, last week in Michigan, he finished second place and still called himself a failure. I'm
Yeah,
just like, dude, like, you can't. It really, upsets me when these drivers out here, when they say they're a failure for finishing in the top five. I'm like, you realize there's back markers in this team that would love to finish in the top five.
yep,
Love to
yep,
finish in the top 10. And
yep.
just for, just people come out here and say they're a failure for finishing second place and
Yeah,
having,
that's a hell of a day at the office, man.
yeah, and especially starting on pole in that race. It's
Yep,
like, dude, like, it's time to stop playing that type of card. You have to start being the leader of your team. You're now,
yep,
if Kurt Busch is, if he's actually going to retire, the rumors going around that he's potentially thinking about it now. He's going to be the long-standing tenure 2311. He
yep,
has to be the leader for that organization. Denny Hamlin can't do it until he's an actual out of the car and in the CEO chair. Bubba
yep,
has to be the guy on his team leading him. He can't call himself a failure for that. He raced a fantastic race. More and more and more, I'm becoming more of a Bubba Wallace fan because he's starting to give results on the track.
yep.
And
And
he's
I mean, the talent's been there for a long time. I mean, when he was in the Truck Series, he won 6 races, and most of his Cup career, he's been in not good cars. Which this is something I heard someone proselytize about why maybe he's so hard on himself. And in the past, he's in a bad car, so he expects to not win. Basically, when you're in a car like that, you're not necessarily competing for wins every week. But now that he's in a top tier ride, anytime that he has a great car, I think that the way that he sees it is that he's let the team down because he had a car that's capable of winning, and he just hasn't been in this position a lot where when you have a day like that, yeah, obviously you want to win. You're there at the end. You had a hot rod all day, but you gotta take the good from whatever situation instead of dwelling on, well, I didn't win. Well, you finished second and you're on the pole and you had your fourth or fifth top 10 in a row. Like, be stoked about that, and then take that and build on it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. But talking about building, Kevin Harvick now he broke his 68 race winless streak, and now he's won two in a row. He is on an absolute tear right now. Adam Lancaster has to be happy.
Yep, yep.
Uh, but yeah, he showed up late today at Richmond. Logano, was dominated the race with leading up for 200 laps, and then Kevin Harvick literally just came out of nowhere and poof, he took over the lead and won the race. But
Yeah,
if
that's Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
if the race was, come like five more laps to go, Seabell would have passed him. But it is what it is.
Yep, that's part of it, and it's kinda like I was saying last week. You let a guy like Harvick get a win. It's when you've gone that long without a win, you've got that monkey on your back, and then once you finally break through, it's kind of like, yeah, it's just back to how it was before. I mean, the guy won, what, 2 years ago. He won 10 races or whatever. Um, I Now that he's got this momentum, he's got 2 wins. He's locked into the playoffs. This guy has a very good chance, I think, of being there in the final four, and maybe winning the whole dang thing. He's hot at the right time of the year. I know that's got to be good for morale in the garage there. It's just it's wild to see someone who struggled for so long, and now He's got to be. If you made me pick who was going to win the championship today, I'd have a hard time not picking Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, I agree with you right there. He's been strong and he hasn't won up to Michigan, but he's slowly and surely worked his way back up. But I can't disagree with you about picking him for the championship.
Yep, and that's the thing. If you said that a month ago, people would think we're crazy, but that's how fast things can change.
Green flag or red flag? Here's how it goes. Green flag means you agree. Red flag means you disagree. Here we go. Green flag, red flag. Keith Hackney ran the field at Knoxville after off-track altercations in Discord, and after Akamai shows up with a piss on Hackney sticker on his truck.
Well, as far as Hackney goes, green flags for him. I mean, he is a dirt guy, and we went to a dirt track, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. I know Fritz came down and ran that race and gave him a run for his money, but man, Keith is he's been fast all season, and when you put him on dirt, he's hard to beat. I know he was running out front at Bristol as well, and somehow blew his engine up there. I'm not even sure how that happened, but regardless, he did what he was supposed to do. As for Akamai, I like that he's keeping it going. I want to keep seeing these little pot shots.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like I said, I'm green. I agree with you. I'm green flag with Hackney winning the race. I was in the booth, and he after the green flag dropped, he was gone. The only person that can get to him was Scott Fritz, and Scott. There's a couple of restarts. Where I thought Fritz would have had him, but
Yep.
it
There
just
was
never worked out.
Yeah, there was one restart, or no, I ran the heat race with him. I finished second in the heat race to him, and even on the restarts, I mean, he would clear me in the first turn, and I'm by no means a dirt guru or anything. I'm fine enough, but man, the only way I could have beat him was to just run through his quarter panel, and I don't even know if I could have gotten to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, the only person I think that had anything for him. I mean, I saw you were in the top 3 there for a long time. If you got involved in an incident, it looked like.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, but I think toward the end of the race, Scott Fritz was the only one that had anything for him, and he just by then Hackney knew what line to run and what line to restart in, and it just never worked out for
Yep.
Scott. But
I saw Keith do a really interesting thing. Kind of halfway through the race, he started running the bottom, and he was still faster than me down there, which is crazy. But I think what he was doing, he was reconditioning the track. He was moving dirt up so that later on he could run the middle line and there'd be grip there, and then he would just chase the cushion all the way up. And I thought that was just a absolute genius move. And
yeah,
you got to have awesome pace to be able to do it, because if you're like me, you go down there and run the bottom and you're going to get freight trained. But he's fast enough to where he can pull stuff like that off.
yeah, definitely. And I'm also know the Akamai deal. I'm gonna go red flag on that because it. I'm kind of on the verge of saying enough with these cheap shots and
Yeah,
prove it
like
on track.
yeah,
Because
are we past it now?
yeah, it's kind of like I don't want to keep saying these shots being thrown. I don't want to see the sticker. I don't want to see the paint scheme. I want to see action on track. I want to see Twitty, battling a Hackney, and then if action happens, actions happen. I'm tired of seeing these cheap shots. I'm tired of seeing, I get drama is drama, and I'm all here for the drama part, but for the love of God, do it on track. I just don't like seeing the cheap shots on social media or on the even. I'm also calling out Keith Hackney on this too with the headstone scheme at Wilkesboro. Like, is that? I mean, I get it. It gave the picture and it sent the message out, but then Tweety comes back with a guy peeing on a Hackney, whatever. But it's just not something. For one, keep that type of imaging off our league. I'm not a big fan of it. I know a lot of people aren't either. So I mean, I get it. You want to throw shade, but do it in our group fight. I'm basically talking to the league here. Do it in our fights chat. Don't put it on the track. If you want to, race them hard and you want to move them out of the way, or you want to spin them or whatever, be careful doing that, but do it that way instead of coming up with the paint scheme. Yeah, they're fun to watch. And honestly, we didn't even know, the sticker was so small on his car, we didn't even see it or notice it. So
Yeah, I would have never seen it. I just happened to open up Facebook and it was on, like, as soon as I opened Facebook, my reels at the top, it was the very first thing I saw. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't have ever known.
yeah. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about, keep the drama up, keep doing their thing. I love, give us something to talk about here on Race Hub, but it's not professional to move it on to the paint schemes and stuff like that.
Yeah, just like you said, just keep that shit talk up, man. Keep it. I like going into the post race fights after and seeing the guys getting at it, because that's a part of racing. But at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but Keith's up there battling for the lead and points overall, and the kind of the guys he's battling with are they're just on the cusp, which I did see. I'm stoked. I think Twitty is actually, as of right now, I think he is in the playoffs, which would spice things up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. But I still, like I said, the last podcast, I still don't think Keith Hackney makes the Final Four. But that's just
yeah,
But
yeah.
green flag, red flag. Aaron Smith spins twice in the Cup Series and still comes back to win.
So I'm going to not. I'm red flag, but not for Aaron. I'm red flag for the rest of the field. You guys gotta. This guy obviously is super fast, and even more so on road courses. And he goes out and self spins 2 times, and nobody
He was
else can get
involved
it done.
into a wreck too. There's the picture in Discord of him actually, in contact with someone in the wall.
Yeah, so he self-spun on that one, and as he was trying to get it gathered up, I can't remember who, but someone hit him. It wasn't a big hit by any stretch, obviously, because he came back and won the damn race.
Yeah, I'm green flag for Aaron. Because that shows his ability, and that shows give him clean air and give him I don't know if he came in and got tires. I was unfortunately working again, so I'm going off what people have told me and stuff. But from what I'm hearing, it seems like when Aaron got in his tires after his 2 spins, he was unstoppable. And that brings me to my other point: red flag for the rest of the Cup field, because the guy spun twice.
Yeah, you gotta take advantage.
Yeah, you guys had the guy that won Coda didn't take a single set of tires the whole race. Don't know if that's the same strategy they ran at Sonoma, but I'm hearing that's right on the lines that they did anyway.
Yep, I know my guy did. He never took tires. He did finally see some fall off. It was 45 lap race. I think he said around lap 40, his car started getting tight. But I believe just about everybody else was on. Anybody that was running up front was on that same strategy, and it actually, when that second spin, whenever he came in, it actually worked out really well for him because he was able to stay out at it got him on a different schedule, and he ended up starting 4th at the next stage because he didn't have to come in then, and it was all she wrote after that. So it obviously, like, spinning is bad, but for as bad as it could have been, it worked out halfway decent.
Yeah, I'm not saying that to bag on the rest of the guys in the Cup Series, but
I am.
It's sad when a guy can spin twice and still come back and win the race by a considerable margin, for what I'm told. And there is some fantastic road course racers in our Cup Series. We have Alex Huffman, Cedric Hunter, David Farmer. We have all of these good, well-rounded road course racers, and it's for Aaron Smith to come by and whoop your ass. Especially you're spinning twice. That's just a slap. If he came down to the Xfinity Series and did that, I'll be feeling some type of way after that.
Yep, 100%.
green flag, red flag. A back marker almost took out the leader while wrecking on his own at Sonoma.
Yep. So I won't get into names here, and no one ever said it over the radio, but it happened. I was spotting Dave, and I think he was in the top five. I want to say he was third at the time, and they had just caught up to the pace car, and a a driver to be named later comes flying on the screen, almost bashes everybody, and I had a small heart attack because even after that he had trouble getting his car back together, and then after that later in the race he's a lap down or whatever, and you got the leaders coming, and he's racing them hard through the S's at Sonoma, which is it's tricky to get through there with good pace regardless. And he's taking up a lane, and he's 10 miles an hour off pace, but he's not letting guys go. And I
Yeah.
know that like it's the faster guy's job to get around the slow guy. I get that. He has every right to his racing line, and that's other people's problems. But man, when you got like 10 laps to go and you got a battle going on, it's it's aggravating from the side of the guys that are fast, but from his perspective, he probably feels that he's entitled to do as he pleases, and he is. But it's one of those, I hate unwritten rules, but this is an unwritten rule that I think is a good one. So I'm red flag on lappers getting involved with cars that have a lot more pace, especially at the end of a race, and especially at a road course.
Yeah. I mean, I 100% agree with you. Red flag through and through. I mean, I know this guy personally, love him to death. I know he's probably gonna hear this and be really upset. And but you know who you are. Just know that we love you. But man, it's getting to a point where you're putting other drivers in danger of wrecking their cars, especially in Sonoma, where one wrong move, there's not a lot of runoff at Sonoma.
Yeah,
And it's kind of like the Roval, you're surrounded by walls or
yeah,
a long grass patch, but you're not gonna be able to slow the car down.
right.
But man, I don't think, I don't know. For me, not seeing the race,
Yeah,
I don't really
hard to
have
judge.
I can't judge specifically what happened. But for one, I'm hearing, I'm red flag on, because that just seemed like it wasn't called for.
Yeah, and
But
it's just a universal thing, regardless of who it is and when it happened. It's one of those things. Like if I'm running around and I'm down 100 horsepower, like I'm not gonna get in people's way.
yeah, definitely. Just especially if you're down on power. Just for anyone in the league now, if you're down on power, or if you're damaged in a certain way, you have front end damage where it's called you have a hole in the nose, or you're down, even if you're down 15 RPMs or something like that, that's a big difference.
Yeah,
And you're losing about a couple miles an hour on the straight, and that's on, even at Martinsville with those long straights, you're still losing speed. In Richmond and any short tracks, damage still sucks. And especially on road courses, especially when you have side panel damage, and now you're aero tight, and now you're tight because you can't turn the car, and now it's just, you have hole in the nose, you have crinkled up spoiler, now you're causing more drag. It's just, when you're damaged like that and you're so far off the pace, just let them go. There's no need. I get it, you're upset. Everyone's upset with wrecking.
yep,
But even when you're down on power, clutch, if you don't know if you're down on power or not, guys, just push your clutch pedal down and watch your RPMs go down. If it stays around 2,000 RPMs and in NASCAR, you're fine.
yep. That's on Cup cars. I think the trucks are 1280 or 1180. No, 1180 is typical
Cup
idle. I
Series
don't know.
or Xfinity is 2000 as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't, like I said, I didn't watch the whole race. I need to go back and should have went back and watched it. But for what I'm seeing, or for what I'm hearing about it, that's red flag all the way.
Yeah, and part of it there, I know there are some guys that just do not like road courses, and they're not good at them, and they don't necessarily care to do a ton of practice on them, and that's how you end up with a situation like we had in that race. And I mean, if you're gonna be slow, like just be slow out of everyone's way.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Bro, are you serious? Alex, what is your are you serious moment of the week?
So I'll start with a real life NASCAR one, which they're actually, the more I thought about it, I've kind of got two from the Cup race today. So the first, are you serious, is Ross Chastain. Are you serious, bro? You're gonna go? th- Like, I don't know what
That's just his
Toyota's.
latest stop on his get don't give a fuck to her.
Yeah, like I don't know what Toyota has done to him, if his mom got stranded by an '86 Corolla when he was a kid or something, but he hates every Toyota driver and will find their quarter panel. Today it was Kyle Busch. I know over the radio he said that he was trying to give Ty Dillon room down low. He had already cleared him, so that's partly on him, partly on his spotter for maybe not clearing him soon enough. But like, after the whole thing with Denny, and then now with Kyle Busch of all people, like, these are not guys you want to make enemies of.
Nope.
These are the guys that are, if they're going to make sure you don't win a championship. And
Yeah.
he has the speed to do it, but
Yeah.
he just continually makes enemies. I think even after the race, Kyle Busch was like, "Oh yeah, we got Chastain today. He picked me today." And guys just can't race like that, so
Yeah.
the aggravation is there for everybody. So it's I imagine once we get into the playoffs, we're gonna see some drama from that.
I think he's hit 3 of the 4 Gibbs cars this season. I think he's hit
It,
Hamlin 3 times, Bush once, and Truex 2.
yeah, the Truex one, I didn't have a big issue with it. It wasn't as blatant as the others, but I think that kind of goes along with, once you have that reputation, guys are automatically going to think the worst if they're in any kind of incident with you whatsoever.
Yeah.
So the second part from today's Cup race is, is NASCAR serious with the next gen car at short tracks? They they have not put on a good show at short tracks. They I don't know what needs to change. I didn't think today would be as it wasn't as bad as like the first Martinsville race, but it there just wasn't, it didn't seem like there's a whole lot going on. It was, I mean, there were passes made, but it was kind of dependent on a guy being on an older tire, so you could just kind of motor on by. But they've got to make some kind of change to the short track package. I don't know if it's doing away with the under tray with the diffuser and everything. If they need more power, I know. I don't think they were shifting to. Or no, they were shifting today. I know that a lot of guys say that any track where you're shifting at, that kind of creates some bad racing because you can blow a turn, but as long as you're able to downshift, you're still going to get drive off anyways. So it's there. There's a few ways to look at it, and if I knew the answer, I would just say it. But they've got to figure something out in testing to make these short track races a little more interesting.
Yeah. The weird part is I'm on that side where I think the race today was a lot better than what it was in the spring.
I agree. It was better, but it still left a little be desired for me.
I I can understand that, but one thing I'm happy I did see return is multi-groove Richmond. I was
Yes.
happy to see that back.
Yep.
Um,
And which I think, like I said, I think some of that was the product of guys on different age tires, and that was allowing guys to go to different places or forcing guys to run the bottom or the top or whatever. So it it wasn't just a one lane train like Martinsville was at the beginning of the season, but it's a step in the right direction. But I think there's still some tweaking that needs to be done.
yeah, definitely, I agree with you. Well, do you have any others? Or
Um, I, Yeah, I've got one iRacing one, and this comes from the Cup race. I know we discussed it at length after Coda. Um, but man, Goodyear, are you serious with how long these tires last on road courses? It's and I know that's why I say Goodyear, because I know they're experiencing the same thing in real life as well, where they're getting more grip as they go into a runner, and it takes forever for the tires to fall off, which can be fine. It's not as big of an effect in our series because we run shorter races, but at a road course in real life where you have long stages and obviously lots of different levels of drivers, that leads to a field getting really stretched out. And even it happens to a certain extent in our league, especially after the stages are over. Guys are able to stretch it out, and if you have enough fuel, then obviously you can just go all the way. Um, so yeah, it's just wild to me that these tires last like this. I can't knock iRacing for it. I can't knock any drivers for taking advantage of it, but it's just wild that the tires last like they do.
Yeah, it blew my mind when Cedric Hunter was able to run the full Coda race with not changing tires, and same thing with Sonoma. That just
Yep.
blows my mind because last gen car you would have had to change your tires every 10 laps. It felt like so. But my two Are You Serious moments both have to do with Bluegrass. Well, I'm gonna get the first one to me because last podcast it was brought to my attention that I accidentally gave Brandon Robertson the season 2 championship, but actually it was the 15 of Matt Grenier.
Ah.
So that's my own Are You Serious moment. So Matt pointed it out and gave me crap for it all week, so I deserve that one.
Yep.
And
100%.
yeah, then the second one. So on Tuesday, we were at Mid Ohio. The Xfinity Series was,
Yes.
and race was going good for me. I won the stage. Brandon Robinson cut me some breaks, which I appreciate. So my teammate Justin White, he was the number 2 Silverado in the Truck Series, and also runs spots for Nate Maurer and one of us when Maurer isn't there. Well, he was spotting for me on Tuesday. We're coming to the green. I already pit stops, coming to the green after the stage break. I was starting first in the stage. I think I had Robertson to my right. And then all of a sudden he came over the radio and said, "Pit." What? Pit? He's like, "Yeah, come top off on fuel. I have a strategy." I was like, "Okay." So I pulled down pit road, and now they took the one to green, so now they're gritting up. So I relinquished my lead, starting in the rear of the field. The strategy, that was my Are You Serious moment, that he called me in the pit road to top off, and starting out the rear of the field on the last restart at Mid Ohio. But it doesn't mean I kind of made up for it. Finished 5th in the race. A lot of good points today for me, but man, he was telling me after the race that he fucked up or messed up. Excuse me, and yeah. So he is my Are You Serious moment of the week.
I get it, and now that you say that, I have one additional one because I had a similar thing happen. I spot for Dave Farmer on Wednesdays, and after trying to think, I believe it was okay. So after the first stage, or no, coming into the first stage, I told him to stay out. It's like, Dave, stay out. We can make it to the second stage on fuel, and then we'll figure out what we want to do from there. Dave disregarded my incredibly sound advice, and he comes into the pits. And then after we get back out on track, we had enough fuel by, we're like 2 or 3 laps to the good. So instead of starting first at the stage break, he was back starting, I don't know, somewhere in the top 10. And it if he was able to start out front, we might have had maybe something to try and hold Aaron at bay. Obviously, he's a rocket ship, but we could have at least played a role in it and made him work for it a little bit. So, are you serious, Dave? You got to listen to your damn crew chief next time.
Yeah, opposite of me.
Yes.
Bluegrass picks of the week here at Nashville Fairgrounds. Who do you have for the truck series?
At the fairgrounds. Let me get my list pulled up here. Let's look at these fellas. I've got somebody in mind. Let's see. I am going to have to not pick myself because I hate this place. I will pick myself at some point, but it's not time. But who I am going to pick is going to be Justin White. I
Ooh.
think Justin has one win on the season. He's been super consistent. Looking at the stats right now, he actually has the highest average finish in the series of ninth. I know he's always clean. He takes care of his stuff, and he kind of just hangs around. He's all kind of just in the right place at the right time. And I think like when I was talking about Keith earlier, I know he's super fast, but on tracks like this, I think he is prone to making mistakes at times, and this is a track that will punish you for the smallest mistake. Um, and then, I mean, we've got the other three guys up top, but I like Justin's composure. I like the way he looks at a race, and I think that's going to pay off for him tomorrow.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm teammates with Justin White, and he's a clean racer. He knows when to push and when not, when to hold back. Nashville is all about saving your tires and pushing at the right time and passing at the right time. It's really easy to get loose, and it also gets really easy to get tight. So there's a lot of banking at Nashville, so that also suits up to Justin's favor. But I'm gonna point out one more thing before I pick my pick. You also won last week. You picked you picked two of the three winners.
Oh, yes.
So you're 1-0. But my pick, you know what? I'm going to go with Keith Hackney.
My man.
I'm going to go with the Toyota.
He brings speed every weekend. I can't knock you for it.
Yeah, he's, I know he's gotten into some incidents with other drivers, and other drivers are willingly or absolutely should be mad at him. I think he would say the same thing. But you consistently have been the fast truck since like week 3, week 4.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You consistently you're blowing your way up. Now you're battling for the three-way battle for points. That's why I'm picking Keith to win this race, and he's proved that he can run at short tracks. He was doing well at Wilkesboro before he shot himself in the foot. So I'm looking forward to see how he does at Nashville. So the Xfinity series, all three series are at the same place. I'm gonna pick first for Xfinity, and you're gonna pick first for Cup. How about that?
I can get down with that.
All right, so Xfinity. My brain is telling me, like, I'm being told 2 different drivers right now. So my brain is telling me Radburn Shutters, and my heart is telling me Nate Maurer. Nate Maurer won this race last year.
Mm-hmm.
But Radburn has been blistering fast since he entered the league. I think week 6 or 5 or 6 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go with my head here. I'm gonna go Radburn.
10-4. So one of the guys you were going between, I've got 2 I'm looking at here. So my heart says Adam Lancaster, or Lancaster, so he can follow in the Stuart Haas footprint and get himself a dub this week. But looking at the stats, I like Nate Maurer. He has the highest average finish in the series of 7th. He has looks like the second highest average starting position behind Radburn. So I'm gonna take the pick you didn't make. I'm going with Nate.
Yeah, he's also my other teammate. So that's gonna be an interesting team conversation this week. Sorry, Nate.
Yeah, your teammates love me now.
Right. All right, Cup Series.
Cup Series, man. This is a tricky one. I don't think this is an Aaron Smith week. So I'm gonna go ahead
Ooh.
and I'm gonna go ahead and get
Ooh.
I'm gonna go ahead and get that part out of the way. But from there, uh, this is a difficult one for me, but I think I'm gonna roll with Huffy. I think he's gonna get off the schneid and win his first race of the season.
I like that pick. I like it a lot. Yeah, Alex, he's been racing the Cup Series, and I believe season 1 here in Bluegrass, and he's been blistering fast since last time. All I can remember him. He's always finished ahead of me when I raced him. So, yeah, he's fast. I feel like him and David Farmer are the only ones that can compete with Aaron Smith at the moment.
Yep, I almost picked Dave because he gave me so much shit for not picking him last week, but I am gonna pick him at some point when I feel the time is right. He's been real consistent lately. He'll probably I think we'll have another top 5 run or something, but for this week, I think Huffy's gonna get it done.
My heart is telling me to go with the obvious pick, of Aaron Smith,
Yep.
but I'm kind of conflicted between your driver and the last series champion of Matt Grenier.
That was I also spot for Matt actually, and I w- I had both him and Dave on my because this is a track I think that they'll both be fast at.
I'm gonna throw the wild card out. I'm gonna go Matt Grenier.
Grenier, I like it. He'll be glad to hear it, I'm sure. This is
Yeah.
you making up for not accurately calling him out as the defending champion.
Yeah, definitely. But Matt, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Please beat Alex or Aaron. Please beat Aaron this week.
Yes.
Thanks everyone for tuning in to our second episode here at Bluegrass Race. Please follow us at Bluegrass iRacing Series on all social media platforms, and keep an eye out for our recruitment races here coming up for our Dirt Pro Late Model Series. Thank you to our league sponsors, Butt Kicker, Russia Jim's Coffee, Huffman Designs, Kinder Performance Group, and Nitro Racing. Catch us next week as we go over this week's action here at Nashville Fairgrounds. Until next time, love each other and be safe. See you then.